Hello and welcome to lesson 23 of the Learning Guitar series. The shape we're discussing this time is the C minor related shape. The PDF looks like this, and as you could notice, as usual, the first thing that I like to point out is how, in this case, I'm doing it in the key of G as usual. G Dorian and F Ionian are the same thing, so are the same notes. If I look at the scale, this is the scale for F Ionian in this particular shape, and this is G Dorian, because this is G minor. So it's important that you understand that at the end of the day, what we did in lesson 10, which was our F in the shape of A, so we started the scale, and in that PDF, there is all the exercises you can do in terms of the intervals contained in this particular shape, all the triadic studies, groupings, extended triads. All those exercises, they're still valid. We're just applying it this time to a minor chord. In other words, so if you study the triads, the same exercises, they still apply to this particular chord. And in a way that's great, because it means that even if we're learning a new sound, in this case minor, we can still use and keep developing all those studies. What we're adding now, compared to when we did lesson 10, is the minor arpeggios that come with this chord, okay? I wrote them in the key of G, and here we have the triad, the minor 7, minor 6, other 9, minor 9, 6, 9, 11, and 13. And then you have a second octave. The triad can be played over 2 octaves. Then we will look at the caged arpeggio, so the one that employs all 6 strings. All these arpeggios here, they all start from the root note. Then that's convenient for your photographic memory. Then you have the full triad caged arpeggio, and then 2 octaves versions. So basically 2 triads, 2 stacked triads. Let's start from that. Let me explain you briefly what we're discussing here. So the first arpeggio would be, for example, this. That's root note, flat 3, 5. That's why it's a minor, okay? And it's written in the key of G, but when you're practicing it also, obviously, once you learned what it looks like, you might want to start from, the lowest possible position on the guitar. In this case, I'm starting from C sharp. And I'm saying C sharp because that's my root note. That's why I like to do them from the root note, also because you get to train your ears. So you have the key of G, this minor 7, so 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 6, other 9, 7, 9, 6, 9, 11, and 13. Okay, so these are the, the arpeggios and all the extension for Dorian I can get in this particular cage. Following to that, I also added in the PDF the harmonization of these arpeggios, 3 and 4 note groups. What that means. I can practice these arpeggios as a sequence. Okay, or say if I do the 13 version. But especially the minor 13 version, so the full modal arpeggio. If I spell it with 3 and 4 notes at a time, I get to know all the chords which are contained in that arpeggio. Now, I know this might sound a little bit, confusing as a concept, but actually it's easier than you think. And it's going to be very relevant when we do chord substitutions. Again, let's go back to our G minor. So I have 1, flat 3, 5, and then 7, okay, for example. I can take the first 3 notes and then play the following 3 notes. And then the following 3 notes, which are 5, flat 7, and 9. And then the following 3 notes, which are flat 7, 9, 11. And then the following 3 notes, which are 9, 11, and 13. And they all spell a chord. This is G minor. This is actually, if I look at it from this as a root note, This is B flat major. Right? That's B flat. And if I look at the third one, and I think of it as a root note being here, this is D minor. And if I continue, this is actually F major. And this is A minor. So these are all triads, and if I can spell them in arpeggio, it means that they are also chords. So the same arpeggio, this played in group of 3, like I wrote in the PDF, sounds like this. Now, besides doing it as an exercise, which is cool, we get to know the full extent of the Dorian arpeggio. The idea and the reason I wrote the chords, and in the PDF you'll see them. You see G, B flat, D minor, F, A. This is in group of 3 notes, and this is in group of 4 notes. That's why now you have G minor 7, B flat major 7, etc. Now we have the full minor caged arpeggio. So this arpeggio is starting from the 5th, then flat 7, and then root note. Then it becomes what we just studied. Okay, and the same thing we can do with the triad. So in this case, I added the flat 7. I will not this time. So root note, sorry, 5th, root note, 3, 5, root note, 3, 5, and you have this. Okay, and on the PDF, then on the second page, I gave you the usual 3 ways that I think you should practice the actual arpeggios, these ones. So the example here is written as a minor 7, but each of these exercises should be applied to each individual arpeggio. So the first one is, it's a minor 7 in one direction. So I'm starting from C sharp, and it looks like this. So you're practicing basically minor 7 in that particular shape in all keys. Of course, at first you might find it difficult to play it straight chromatically like this. You might want to repeat the same arpeggio multiple times before you move. So the following exercise is the same thing but reversed. So you have this. And as you move up on the neck, it's important that you actually visualize the neck, look at the neck, and tell yourself what key are you in, because that really is going to help your photographic memory, but also like to memorize the shapes, so that you can after play without looking at the guitar, in other words. And as I said, you want to do the same kind of exercise. Say today you're doing minor 7, maybe tomorrow you do minor 6. Same thing. That's minor 6. Maybe after tomorrow you do minor 9, which is this. And up and down the guitar. The third version is what I call the alternate version, which is this one, where you're alternating a descending and an ascending arpeggio. In other words, say if you... That's basically what you're doing. I tend to do it chromatically, that's the way it's written on the PDF. So that's E, F, because that's F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B. Of course, once again, if you find it difficult to do it chromatically straight away, you can always repeat the same pattern in a particular key before you move. So in other words, say C sharp and back. So you can repeat it as many times as you feel appropriate. So that's now is D minor. That's F, right? Following these exercises, you have instead the one applied to the caged arpeggio. You might want to start from the lowest possible available fret, let's put it that way. So in this case again, C sharp. That's D. So this is basically a minor 7. I'm using the cage system, and you can do the same with the triad, obviously. As I've written on the PDF, apply the following 3 exercises to the full minor caged arpeggio and triads caged arpeggios. So I'm referring to these 2, 1 and 2. And there is 3 ways of doing it. Again, group of 3, group of 4. The group of 3, if this is my minor 7 caged, group of 3 will be. And group of 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? The following exercise we look here instead is from scale to arpeggio. Here we are ascending with the scale and descending with the arpeggio and vice versa. So we know that that's the scale. And all we're doing here is basically coming up with the scale and up, down with the arpeggio. Okay. Straight after that, you have the version which instead goes ascends with an arpeggio and descends with a scale. So. To continue, still we're in page 3. In this case, the practice is to go from chord number 1 to chord number 2. So again, this is written in the key of G minor, so it's F major, but my suggestion is that you keep transposing this thing is in all possible keys, so that you don't spend too much time visualizing only one particular key, because then you'll become very good at visualizing that one but nothing else. So change it maybe on a daily basis. Of course, start from this key so that it's probably easier, and it's easier also to compare it to what we studied so far, and that's why I'm doing everything in one key. So like, especially in this case, to go from major to minor is going to look kind of easy. So in this case, we're going up with the F major arpeggio. So we're looking at the shape of A, and this was done in lesson 10, in case you need to refresh it. And coming back with G minor, then going up in G minor, coming back of F major. So you have F, G minor, F. Now the way it's written there, major, minor, minor, major. Okay. Page 4, same thing again. We have the major to minor. What we're discussing is going from G major to G minor. So as you can see here, we're going down as a G major 7, coming back, and then up as a G minor 7. So in other words, and then of course you have the version where upper major, minor, minor major. So there is 2 exercises you can do. So in other words, what you're looking at is major, minor, and this is really going to help you visualize the differences in between major and minor. And we've done this. So this is major, minor, major, minor, major, minor. The second exercise is simply like going down major, minor, so the following exercise is the same, major to minor, minor to major, applied to scale, as important as applied to arpeggio. And following that, there is the connecting shape. So in this exercise, we're connecting the 3 minor Dorian shape we studied so far, E, D, and G. And the exercises are in the key of G, but I suggest once you're familiar, you move chromatically. This is G major, and that's the scale that goes with it. Okay, and now we have G minor, and so Dorian, and that's the scale. So what you're practicing is going from one to the other. So you are major, minor, and you can do it like changing direction like we've done before. So major, and then you switch to minor, major. And again, you can go back and do it from the top. So as in the first gauge was major, minor, major, minor, major, minor. On the last page of the PDF, so on page 5, the last thing we're dealing with, so having completed this shape, now we can also see how we can develop 3 octaves of minor triads. So here is the 2 exercises, so from G minor to G major, 3 octaves, and in 2 different ways. Let me show you practically what I mean. So if I take a major triad like this, so now I have 3 octaves of it, right? And if I lower the third, so from 1-3-5, I go to 1 flat 3-5. So I go to this from, that's why I said we use some stretched position, okay? So now you have major, minor. The other example is where major instead is stretched, so you have this 1 flat 3, 1-3-5, and the minor version. So by doing it this way, you see the third move. Last but not least, I prepared another backing track that you can use to practice. The progression that I chose for this particular week is 2-4-5. And then the key, if I think of it in terms of G minor as chord number 2, chord number 4 is B flat, and chord number 5 is C7. In a second, I'm going to set up the backing track and I'll play along, so to show you how you can use it. Well, I wish you a good practice and I wish you nice playing.